she did them, and I was aware she did them, and I just didn't know how to stop her from doing perks, and I kept warning her about fentanyl because I have a lot of friends that lost their kids. So I'm part of that club now. And I used to beg her, and tell her, please stop taking them. You don't know what's in them. In my daughter's case, is she didn't OD. For people that don't know the story, she was murdered by fentanyl. This is a picture of my daughter for the people that never seen her.
And I can't say it enough times. Do not accept anything from anyone you don't know. And even if you do know them, don't accept it unless you know what it is and where it's come from. And
I would say at my worst, I was probably taking between 30, 35, sometimes maybe 40 a day.
If anything, the way I look at it is like Sopranos saved me. When I would think like, man, what are you doing to yourself? It would be a lot easier for me to go like, stop doing this. Look at what your life could be, instead of what a lot of my friends were dealing with. And, I think it's 5 of my friends who I brought to the premieres of The Sopranos are dead now.
I had my own battle with addiction as well. The Vicodin and Percocet, that was the thing. Never, I didn't do heroin, or it wasn't coke or anything else. It was Vicodin and Percocet.
By 2005, I was a full-blown heroin addict and a crack cocaine addict.
And even people with the worst kind of mental illness have a chance if they have the capacity to be honest with themselves. The reality is we've been lying to ourselves with every drink we put in our mouth, or every puff we take, or every pill that we pop, or whatever we're doing. And then we wonder why people get pissed off at us, but we don't see that it's what we're doing. It's not my mother, my father, my brother, my uncle, my sister. No, it's me too.
The consequences are too severe for me. The damage I've done to my health, it's a fucking miracle. Nothing short of a miracle that I am still alive. So, if I can do it, any of you can do it.
When people suffer from alcoholism or drug addiction, there must come a moment when your life totally crashes. For me, that moment came when the pain was too great and the consequences were too profound. Only then did I decide to change. Recovery and sobriety is all about change, and for me, it started when I woke up in a grimy hotel room.
Hey guys, what happened to my intro there? I took my earbud out and put it away, and the whole screen went white. Did my intro freeze or something? God damn it, it just got to Don Berlin's beautiful words. And it got all screwed up, I think. What happened, guys? It looked all white to me. That's all I saw. Al Anastasia. Wow, bro. It's good to see you, man. Yo, FBS in chat. Just checking. I'm completely free as a bird in 7 days' time. No more home leave. Back to normal. Oh, that's awesome, bro. That's good to hear, man. I'm glad to see you as always. Farris 28, War, Miss Can't Be Wrong, Tom Sheehy, Sabrina Merrick. Thank you for the $2, Sabrina. Thank you very much. It's good to see you guys. We only got 12 people. I don't know what today is going to be like on the Addiction Recovery Show because of what's going on and all that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. There's a lot of controversy today, but I guess it made for a good first show. My FBS in the Morning show was pretty good. I'll tell you what, I know this is an addiction recovery show, but I have to say again, that was really amazing what happened there at the end. I don't know if you guys, I think a lot of you know the history of the Bath Avenue crew. For Jimmy to say kind words about Marianne, and I've been speaking to Marianne, so the things she said to me about Jimmy, kind, nice things, it's just, it's just amazing to see. So anyway, oh, Miss Can't Be Wrong. It was crazy. We basically separated ourselves from Nick. permanently. You know, he had people on his show this morning talking about my wife and Chicago's wife and SoFlo's wife. It's a bad thing. So it was an exciting show. Miss Can't Be Wrong. You might want to catch it. Jimmy is a good man, turned his life around. Yes, he did. And he is. I'll put the banner across the screen, says Miss Can't Be Wrong. I will do that right now. Thank you for putting me in my place as usual. Let's see this one right here. All right. All right, guys, let's get started. Only 13. Well, I don't even know. Is that for, I think that's for both channels. Yeah, so 13 total, I guess. We'll see what happens. We'll probably get up to 30, 40 like we did last time. But either way, we got us right now. 14 people it's up to. So no doubt, Ferris. Thank you. I think I already replied to that one. I'm not sure, but thank you for being here. Sorry, I went back up there to do my shout outs. So let's talk. What's on your mind as far as addiction and recovery today? I know we got a lot of other stuff to talk about too, but we'll get to that again later on my next regular FBS show. I figured that would be the outcome with Nick. Yeah, well, you know what I told you a couple of weeks ago. You know, I saw it coming, but overnight that was pretty surprising. Should I start this fucking show over? The intro got fucked. Everything else got fucked up. I don't know. FBS, you should take out the mob tube off the banner and put the Izzo gang. Oh, do I have? Oh, shit. I will. I haven't edited this banner in a long time. Don't start over. Let's roll with it. All right. I just hate that because this goes on the Recovery Tube channel too, and we're talking about mob tube stuff. Plus, the intro got fucked up. All right. Well, let's talk, guys. Give me some ideas. You know, my head is kind of cluttered right now with mob tube bullshit and everything else. Anything on your mind? Any of you guys as far as addiction? There's stuff I could talk about, you know. I'll tell you this, you know. The industry. Okay, this is on my mind lately. The industry, the drug and alcohol treatment industry is fucked up. Okay, it really is. There's a lot of scamming and embezzling and all types of crazy shit that happens within that industry, you know. I don't know if you guys ever saw, what was that show? Was it a show or a movie? I think it was a documentary, whatever, about they would basically pay people to go to rehab just so they could charge the insurance, and they would get people to relapse and everything else just so they could be in rehab, so that, you know, the owners could claim, you know, they could get the insurance money for each patient / client, whatever you want to call it, and they make millions all over the country, and I'm sure that goes on every day, you know. But the whole industry itself is fucked up. There's some shady shit that goes on behind the scenes. I'm not going to get into exactly what I'm talking about now. You know, I'll elaborate another time in the future, but you know, sometimes you see shit firsthand, and it's really wild, you know, through other people, whatever, you know, things that have gone on with people, you know, stuff like that. But it's fucked up. It really is. It pisses me off. You know, there's a way to scam people in this world, no matter what you're doing, I guess, no matter what the industry is, no matter what the business is, the company, the corporation. Quite often, the people in charge will figure out a way to con their partners, you know, their investors. And in this industry, the drug and alcohol treatment industry, the patients, the insurance companies, everything. You know, like I said, if you watch that documentary, it would make you want to fucking throw up, because that's what they were doing. They were basically, you know, they were paying people to go to rehab to say they had a drug problem. You know, now that's fucked up for a lot of ways. First of all, you're taking up a bed, you know, for somebody who really does have an issue and could use that, you know, that treatment. I believe, I don't remember correctly, but I believe they were encouraging people to relapse just to keep them in the rehab so they can keep getting that insurance money. They showed a couple of these places where people are just sitting right there at the kitchen table in the rehab, shooting up and smoking crack. And the facility was fine with it, because they were profiting off of your illness, off their client's illness. They were making a fucking fortune, and they were paying people thousands of dollars. They'd go to somebody and say, hey, come to rehab and get some friends. We'll pay them too. You're giving people thousands of dollars to come to rehab and just spend time there so they could charge the insurance companies and make a huge profit. It's really sick. There's a lot of weird shit that goes on. A lot of shit. A lot of business owners, or whatever you want to call it, these CEOs and CFOs and stuff of these companies that own these huge treatment facilities and sometimes a chain of them, they do a lot of shady shit. And quite honestly, a lot of the time they're also taking advantage of the situation just for profit. They're taking advantage of people's weaknesses and illnesses and struggles, to grease their own palms. And a lot of embezzling goes on, a lot of crazy shit, and it fucks things up. It really does. A lot of people, I think it probably costs lives in some cases. A facility closes or something, shuts down, clients have to be released. Who knows what they're going back to, And a lot of this is done because of greedy business people and stuff. So, it's interesting to research some of it. It really is, to see all the crooked shit that takes place, and the way that people like us who have struggled with addiction or are currently struggling with addiction are taken advantage of for profit. It's a shame. That's why I consider myself so lucky that I wound up where I did, because they actually cared. Even, I mean, a lot of these fucking places now are run by the Church of Scientology. You know what I mean? They own fucking rehabs all over the fucking country. And one of the reasons for them is it's a recruitment tool for the Church of Scientology. They get you in there. They brainwash you, kind of like AA does. AA will get you in there. It's a recruitment tool for the church. It is. It always has been. They'll get you in there and they'll convince you that without God, you can't be clean and sober. So they get you in the churches and adding to that collection plate every fucking week and all that stuff. It's all, a lot of it is just a big scam. And the Church of Scientology has jumped right on that. They own so many rehabs around the country. And that's their only reason for it, is because when you're trying to recruit, what better situation to find vulnerable people, that need help and are desperate for it, and they'll listen to you because you're supposed to be the one helping them. So if you're telling them, oh, you got to go here, you got to believe in this, you got to do that, you got to pay this, you got to donate to that, a lot of the time they'll do it. A lot of the times they'll do it. That's why I don't, and I don't knock anybody who goes to AA. I don't. I know it helps a lot of people. If it helps you, good. But that's one of the reasons I never took part in it, is because I see that it convinces people that you need God, and then sometimes they'll say, oh, it's just a higher power. It doesn't have to be God. It always comes back to God. Just saying higher power, you're putting an idea in somebody's head, and that idea is God. That's the way I see it. Could I be wrong? I guess. But from my experience and from what I've seen others go through, no. So it really is a fucking shame the way people take advantage of the disease of addiction to line their own pockets. There's so many different ways they do it, and there's so many different groups and individuals trying to do it. I'll tell you guys a story someday, not now. That the story that basically led me to even talk about this today, another time. But it's it is what it is, I guess. It's like everything else, if there's money in it, it'll become corrupt if it isn't already. Are my fucking glasses crooked? Or is my eyebrow just, I don't know, but this is the way I live. Everything has to be perfectly centered and even. Me too. Did not like the dude for some reason. Well, I got over 30 days. This show is my therapy. That's great, man. 30 fucking days, over 30 days. That's fantastic. And I'm glad this show is your therapy. I've been doing pretty good with keeping up. Last week I had to miss Wednesday because obvious reasons. I was sick as a fucking dog. I needed to stay away from the internet and YouTube for a while. But Miss Campion and Jesse helped me out and did a great addiction recovery show. I listened to the whole thing from beginning to end. And then Friday, when I came back, we did one for my 5 years clean and sober. Paul wants to come on. Let me see. Oh, all right. Yeah, bro. Absolutely. Anybody else, too? You want to join? Grab the link. Kind of a stressful morning so far already. Oh, shit. I don't like saying it's a disease. You will never get over it. You'll be battling the rest of your life. DL, I'm the same way. If you listen to me in the past, I use it because a lot of people believe that's what it is. And I guess scientifically proven to an extent, or it has been scientifically proven to an extent, a disease, I guess. I mean, I understand if it's hereditary and the whole DNA thing and all that shit, I understand sometimes it's just a part of you. Genetics, but I personally don't look at it that way, but listen, people a lot smarter than me do. So I don't look at it that way because I say, if you use the excuse of it being a disease, then you'll never, get clean and sober, and you'll always feel sorry for yourself. And you'll always be able to use that as an excuse rather than facing all the horrible shit you may have done during your addiction and actually, dealing with it the right way. You'll just use that word as an excuse, but I don't know. I remember I talked to Robert Eiler about it from The Sopranos on live on YouTube, and he said the first drink is his choice, something like this. He said the first drink or two, that's his choice. It's when you have the next 50 drinks, that's the disease part. That you can't stop after that, which it kind of makes sense because I experienced that myself many times with alcohol addiction. We each choose every day or every night to have our first drink, at least if we're not physically addicted yet. Then it's not so much of a choice anymore. It's drink or die. But it's the fact that everybody else at our table or at the bar we're sitting at can have one or two drinks and then just call it a night. Whereas once we have that first drink, we're on a run. Then we have to we have to drink until we pass out, and then most likely the next day too. That's me. If I had a drink tonight, I could pretty much tell you for sure that I could not drink tomorrow, just because I know I've had a lot of different experiences throughout my alcoholism where I would drink from time to time and I wouldn't become a full-blown alcoholic again. But I would drink for the rest of the night if I had a drink tonight. My brain wouldn't allow me not to. And I think that's the disease part. My brain, I'll get sick. I'll get physically sick. I won't be able to sleep. My brain will be craving it. And if I don't give it to, if I don't give my body that alcohol, it'll turn on me, not like it as if I'm in full-blown withdrawal, but just for the rest of the night. That's how it would be. Once I had a drink, there was no chance of me sleeping or even being comfortable the rest of that night. I would be anxious. I would be, mentally, I'd just be like in anguish, craving another drink. And I would have to drink until I passed out. Then the next day I could wake up and be fine. But, not everybody can do that either. Paul.
Yo, there you
What's
go,
up,
bro.
Brother?
Look.
Good
Just
to see
enjoying
you.
your life, mate. What was that? Still on.
What was that?
Still on. 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 Sti but having a bourbon at the moment, but that's once in a lifetime.
Oh,
Wild
you?
turkey.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit. That's not good,
No.
Paul.
I said I'm off the drugs, but having a bourbon.
You're cutting out real bad,
Can
buddy.
you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. Now I can.
Is that better?
Yeah. Yeah, try to keep the phone still. Maybe you won't.
So it's winter
cut
in
out.
Australia. All right. Okay.
You all right?
So yeah, it's winter here. So we're getting it's winter over here.
Yeah.
You know, cold winter.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you-
Listen, Paul. Listen, I love you, bro. You know that. You're my brother.
I love you, bro. You know that. You're my brother.
You're under the influence right now, I think, bro. I don't think it's a good idea to have you on right now.
Is that better?
Yeah, yeah.
You okay?
You got a lot of interference, Paul. How about we try this another time?
Yeah, yeah. We'll do it another day. I just wanted to say hello and good day and love you all. I'll see you
same
later.
to you, bro. We love you, man. Yep. I don't know how to handle a situation like that. Paul, struggles, and he was drinking. First of all, I'm worried about him. Secondly, I don't know if that's good for all of you guys to see. I might have handled that the wrong way, but I don't know. He said he was having a beer or a bourbon or something. Listen, I love Paul. Paul is the man. I hope Paul is with me forever, but I try to make a judgment call there from what I was seeing. I didn't. Thank you, Miss Camp. You're wrong. Yeah, I don't know. That one threw me for a loop. Yeah, I know. I feel bad for some reason. I worry about Paul because he struggles and he's made it clear he uses from time to time, but yeah, that's what I mean, Ferris. I look at it like a meeting, even though I don't believe in AA meetings. They're not going to allow you to be there if you smell like alcohol, if you're under the influence, because it's not good for the other people there. Yeah, but you know what, though? I don't think he's in his right mind right now, Miss Camp. You're wrong, so I'm not going to hold it against him, Yes, he is. He is. Paul, whatever you're up to right now, bro, I listen. I wish you the best, and I hope that if you I don't know. I don't know what to say. I hope if you're struggling that things get better. But what do I know? I mean, maybe Paul can just do this. Look, I was just saying that I know I could drink today and not tomorrow. And trust me, that's a crazy thing to say. That is not a good thing to say. And yes, we do love you, Paul. It's not a good thing to say on an addiction recovery show. I'm just being honest about myself. There was times where I was a full-blown alcoholic. When I say full-blown, I mean not that I like to drink a case of beer every day. I mean drinking a half a gallon of vodka a day and suffering withdrawal that literally gave me a grand mal seizure and put me in cardiac intensive care for 7 fucking days. You know what I mean? I would have these times where I would be severely addicted. They would last until I got medically detoxed, and then after I cleaned up at some point or another, I would, a lot of the time, I would decide, okay, it's time to drink again, but I'm going to do it. I had a girlfriend and from 2008 to 2012, every weekend, sometimes every other weekend, it depended on our work schedule, but we would go out and drink. Sometimes it was only, once a month. It depended. But we would go out and drink. And of course, like I said, I would have to drink myself stupid to the point where I could pass out. But then I'd go back to work and the next day and it was like nothing, but not everybody can do that because see, one of the reasons I was able to is because I told you, and this is one of the reasons I kind of have guilt about my situation, is because many of you struggle with the mental addiction of alcohol. You actually love drinking. It's the love of it. It's the cravings for it. It's the, the routine of coming home and cracking a beer and drinking at every event and going out to restaurants just so you have another reason to drink and all that shit. That's what makes it a lot tougher. Don't get me wrong. Physical withdrawal will kill you, but if you're like me, once you're detoxed, you're fine. Because I don't even the thought of drinking, even though I have a craving every now and then, I get disgusted by even the thought of it. But there's people who loved drinking. I never loved. For me, drinking was a way of self-medicating, and it was a way for me to be able to do as much cocaine as possible. And it was also a way for me to get away from terrible things that were going on in my life. But I never loved it. Never. I loved doing cocaine. I didn't love drinking. So the alcoholism part is a little easier for me than it is for some of you. So don't take my advice when I say I could do something like that. Our addictions are different. Everybody's addiction is kind of personal. Everybody struggled in different ways, or they have different aspects of their addiction that maybe, differ from other people's. Let's see. It was Wild Turkey Bourbon bought for me yesterday for my brother's anniversary, 10 years RIP. Oh, shit. Well, bro, I'm very sorry. I remember you mentioned that the other day. I'm very sorry for the loss of your brother. My condolences. And I know this has got to be a tough day for you, bro. You don't have a drinking problem. Okay. Well, Paul, I understand. I was just being cautious for everybody else in here who does. It's not good sometimes for us to see people drunk. Don't ever think it's anything against you, bro. I just did what I thought was best for everybody else here. But listen, I have to say I understand, with what you're going through. And if you don't have a drinking problem, then, none of us can say anything. But I didn't realize, I forgot, about it being your brother's 10-year anniversary. I'm sorry, man. Just don't be mad at me, Paul. I just thought I did what I thought was best for everyone involved. War wants to come on? Absolutely, brother. Not criticizing the guy, but part of my problem is not knowing what to do with myself. Yeah, I got you. That's what I mean. That's why it was Henman, not on this show, brother. I'm not going to block you, bro, but just do me a favor and just somebody can remove that comment. Just we don't talk about that stuff on these shows. Where the fuck was I? Oh, I trust me, DL. I, for the most part, don't either. Thank you, Miss Campione. I believe in taking responsibility for everything we do in our lives. And our addictions are, at least to begin with, I won't say the addiction was a choice. The choice to ever start using a substance to begin with, a substance that we knew could become addicting. That was our choice. I don't know what happens after that, Here's War, my brother, looking good. Look at you. Good to see you. Miss Campy here too. Let me bring her on also. Hey, Miss Campy.
Hey, FBS. Hey, War, how you doing, my sweetheart?
All right, sweetie. How are you?
Guys, bear with me a second. I'm going to put my earbud in. I just got to go run and get a pack of cigarettes from the kitchen. I'll be
Oh, go for it. Go for it.
All right. You guys can go ahead in the meantime.
Okay. Hey, War. Yeah, I just wanted to come up and say, Paul, we weren't trying to get on you about the beer thing. It's just people that have problems with alcohol, and it's an addiction and recovery show. We loved having you on, but you're fine. You're fine. Okay, go ahead, War. I'm sorry.
Well, I'll touch back on this when FBS comes back, but what I wanted to say is when you get to the point where you realize you have a problem, okay, and a lot of us used in the past and still continue to use to this day because of pain in our lives, whether it's pain from our childhood or or loss, you know. And what I wanted to say is you can't be afraid of the pain. Don't be afraid. Embrace the pain. Endure it. And then begin to work through what you need to work through, because that's when you start to heal as an individual.
Yeah, it's good. It's good advice. Good advice. It's true.
Don't be afraid of the pain.
No, that pain helps remind you when you're all over it why you don't want to go back.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely. And you got to face the pain eventually, one way or another. You have to.
Yes,
You have to.
Yes, sir. As horrific as the pain may be, you got to work through it, because those are the triggers, you know. I have PTSD as well, and what I have to do is I have to be very careful. I have to recognize what my triggers are and manage them, you know, work through them. And recovery is kind of the same way. You have to work through all that garbage so that you can heal yourself up on the inside. And the past, those hurtful things don't trigger you into using again.
Yeah.
You've worked through it, you've processed it, and you've healed up from it. And when that happens, when you get healed up from it, the addiction kind of loses a lot of power over your life.
Yeah. No. Listen, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. This is why I've said many times, people have the fear of even getting clean and sober a lot because they're going to have to face that pain, but you have to do it. You have to eventually. It's either that or die. Now, I haven't been through what everybody else has been through. So somebody like Paul today, first of all, he said he doesn't have a problem drinking. I think his drug of choice was heroin. I'm not sure. I think that's what he's told us in the past. My memory. But yeah, I mean, as far as addiction goes and alcoholism and stuff, you definitely have to learn how to live sober and deal with that pain no matter what. I don't know what his pain is like. I haven't felt it. I haven't lost a brother or anything. But yeah, if you do have an alcohol problem, you have to learn how to face that pain clean and sober, or you can't stay clean and sober, because every time something bad happens, or every time you start to reminisce and or have bad nightmares or whatever it may be, it's an excuse to use.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Well, my thing is I don't understand how people, can continuously do it over and over, can completely detox, go through all that pain. And then there they are, you're hearing they're doing it again all over.
Yep.
Well,
yeah, I know. I don't.
How to speak to that?
I guess
it's powerful, I guess.
Yeah, not to cut you off, War, but I think that's the disease part of it. I'm with DL, but I'm starting to understand more as I listen to people. There is a disease aspect to it. There is an illness, and the illness is that part of us. Like you said, Miss Can't Be Wrong, you can go through fucking hell. I mean, think about the things I went through. I got committed to a psych fucking ward. It was the worst experience I ever had. I used to torch cars when I'd get mad at people when I was under the influence. I suffered seizures. I went through fucking every type of physical nightmare you can imagine from alcohol withdrawal. I spent times in critical condition in the intensive care unit, getting a defibrillator put in under my arm after being diagnosed with congestive heart failure, and I still went back to drinking every time. So that's got to be the illness part of it. It has to be the fact that we can go through hell and then still in our head somewhere say, well, let's try again. Maybe we could do it different this time.
May I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
Why did you go back to it again? Did something happen, or what triggered you to go back? May I ask?
I think I'm going to tell you the truth. In my younger years, like when I first had the seizure, I wasn't even 21 yet. You know, once I became 21, it was like everybody's living this life in bars and nightclubs, and I got to stay away from it. So I said to myself, no, you know, I'm not going to live that way. I can control it. I learned later I couldn't. Other times in my life as I got older and stuff, it was out of misery. It was out of depression, loneliness. Everything was an excuse for me to use.
Gotcha.
Yep. Everything.
And when you process and begin to heal, and I just lost what I was going to say. I hate getting older, you know, when that happens.
Oh, no, that's all right, bro. Look, it happens to me like 12 times a day, bro.
You know, no, when you have to build up your endurance. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's why it's so important to heal yourself up as much as you can on the inside, because you won't be swayed that temptation again once you gained some endurance, some strength in the area of your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, you have to.
I mean, that's been my experience.
Absolutely. You have to. You got no choice. You know, that's the only way. I came to a lot of these conclusions in rehab. I began to understand once I had a clear head long enough that, you know, I'm either going to constantly use this as a crutch and a way to get through hard times and then bad memories and everything else, or I'm going to fucking, you know, I'm going to, like you said, build an endurance and start to become the type of person that no matter how bad the situation is, I know I have to face it clean and sober or I'm going to die. That's it.
It's kind of like walking away from street life. You know what I mean? I used to love the money. The camaraderie of my brothers, you know what I'm saying? And if there's something that I miss the camaraderie the most. Okay?
Yeah.
And the money wasn't too bad either, but sorry.
No, I hear you, bro.
But it's like drinking. Yeah, the buzz is good. Sure, the money's good. Sure, the camaraderie's good, but the rest is junk.
Yep.
You know what I mean? The rest is junk. Gangsters are not good people. You know what I mean?
No. And all of it, whether it's addiction or street life, drug dealing, whatever it may be, it only leads to a couple of possible conclusions, and none of them are good. None of them are good.
No, sir. No.
What do you think, Miss Campione?
Sorry for making that correlation, but that's kind of what hit me when I was a younger man and getting myself straightened out.
Sorry, guys. I heard a horn going off outside over and over.
Oh, no problem.
I was like, what in the hell was going on? Sorry.
No,
Yeah, like I say, people's brains, it's just amazing what your brain, you know, you can get yourself to, and that the drugs, one thing can happen, something bad can happen,
yes,
and boom, you're off to the races again.
Yep, without a doubt, it doesn't take much.
No.
That's why it's so important to get yourself healed up as much as you can. For when that temptation comes, you can say, as much as I'd like to, no thanks.
Right. And I was saying a while ago, you know, sometimes, you know, we lie to ourselves, you know, like the addict might lie to their families or whatever, but they lie to themselves too, you know.
Yes, ma'am.
Like tomorrow, it's always tomorrow. But, you know, sadly, sometimes tomorrow don't come.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
That's right. We're not promised tomorrow. You don't know where you're going to be tomorrow, you know.
Right. And then a lot of people go and, you know, my brother had this happen. He was in rehab with a guy and went through the sober living process with the guy and everything. And he was an older gentleman in his 50s. And it was like kind of his last run, or his family was going to be done with him. Mm-hmm. And he was doing real good. They had got out. He had moved back with his family and relapsed and OD'd within like 2 weeks and was gone.
That's a shame.
Yeah. Yep. Just trying to do as much as he was doing before. People get it like that too. You know?
Oh, yeah. I knew a kid named Scott. This kid used to take Oxy. He loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a high tolerance. And he went to jail for maybe like 9 months. And when he got out, he thought he still had that tolerance. And he was dead the next day. The day after he got out.
Yeah, and another thing that people are bad for doing with, stuff like that with heroin and fentanyl and stuff like that, they're mixing benzos with it, and the benzos slow your breathing down so much, and your body forgets to breathe, and
Oh my
that's how
God.
you overdose.
Yeah, that's yeah. I wonder how I'm still alive from nights like that where I would take fucking bags full of Ativan, Klonopin, Xanax, Valium just to calm my heart so I could keep doing fucking coke. And then I would drink on top of it. I mean, I
Mm.
don't even know how I didn't stop breathing in my sleep at some point.
Yeah, yeah, especially with the heroin, because the heroin
Oh
slows you down,
yeah.
and then the benzos slow you down, and your body's like just gets so relaxed that forgets to breathe, and that's ugh.
There was a kid, this big fat kid. They called him Bubba. Actually, he's a funny dude. We used to hang out with him way back in the day. He used to go to a methadone clinic every morning, 9 a.m. And he would get his methadone. And one night he decided to take, I forget how much exactly in milligrams, but he took several of his Xanax from his mother the night before. He went to the methadone clinic one day, and that was it. He died. He died a couple of hours after he left the methadone clinic.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's
Oh, D
sad.
Gainey. Yeah, D Gainey. So he lost his best friend 6 years ago to addiction.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, brother.
And see, that's the guilt. He said he will always feel like he could have done more, and that's how we do feel when something like that happens. Like, why didn't we see it coming or whatever?
You couldn't have, though.
No.
You couldn't have, bro. It's not. You never blame yourself. That's just the way it goes. And I'm sure you did do things to try to help him, but like you said, you tried everything you could. So you can't help somebody who doesn't want help. I used to have this guy named Robert Dula. This was a great guy. He was a recovering addict. He used to call himself, he said, I wasn't an alcoholic, I was a wino. I lived under a bridge and I drank wine for 20 something fucking years. That's what he did. And he got clean and sober. And he would always, when me and my daughter's mom were breaking up and I was really going through it and I was trying to kill myself with alcohol and cocaine, every now and then I would get that little sober moment where I would decide, okay, I might need help. And Robert would quite often, he would offer it to me, but it got to the point where every time he would offer it to me, I would make him a promise. And then I would, yeah, I'll meet you at the meeting tonight. And I wouldn't show up. And it got to the point where I would start going to him for help. And he would say, Chris, you're not ready yet. I love you, but I can tell you're not ready. You're not serious about it yet. When you're serious about it, come to me and I'll do everything I can for you. But he knew it was just another one of those breaks where I was just sober long enough to say, okay, I need help. But then within minutes I was drinking again and I forgot all about that. So you got to be ready. You got to be ready or nobody can help you no matter what.
That's true. Somebody I loved more than life itself had a problem with drinking. And I shared with you who that is, FBS. And this person had given up on life, period. They were ready just to kick the bucket, and I came alongside of them and began to show them, work with them, and show them that they didn't need the drink, and they were doing it. They were doing spectacularly, and I was incredibly proud of them. But then they passed, and so whatever the pain is, work through it, get clean, don't binge, don't relapse, stay on the track.
Yeah. That's what you got to do. You got two choices, you either figure out how to face the pain or you die, and you can't be selfish and just say, okay, I'll die, because no matter who you are, there's somebody out there who needs you, who loves you, who depends on you. And you're going to hurt them too, so you can't be weak and just say, oh, it'll be easy for me. What's it going to do to everybody else? You know what I mean?
Right.
It would have killed. I would have, I would have been, my pain would have been over. I would have been done if I really accomplished my goal at some point. But look at all the people in my life who would have suffered, my brother, my daughter, my mother, other relatives, friends, so.
Right.
Go ahead, Miss Campion.
In the addict's mind, they think they're covering it up, think they're hiding it, think nobody knows or think people don't realize it's as bad as it is, maybe, I guarantee you, go to that person and say, look, I'm in a bad place. I really, really need help. And I guarantee you they're going to say, yeah, we kind of knew, we were waiting for you to come ask for
Yeah.
help.
Yes, ma'am, you're
People
right.
know. And a lot of times people, like you were saying, FBS, that guy's like, come to me when you're ready. And that's what a lot of people get to that place with the addict. Like they're not going to push the help anymore. They just wait for you to come and ask for it.
Yeah. And what you said is funny in a way. I mean, the thing about, people really think that nobody notices sometimes, no matter what their addiction is. You know, they could be a full blown alcoholic. They reek like vodka or whatever the fuck it is. They're stumbling, they're slurring their words. In their minds, they look great. You know what I mean? And nobody notices a thing, or pills or whatever it may be. But like heroin addicts, I so many times in my life, I would watch heroin addicts on street corners, at my job, at that place, Syncreon. It was filled with them because everybody was coming from recovery homes and they were on parole working there because they didn't do background checks. I would watch people fully bent over in half, asleep in a heroin nod. And then somebody would wake them up and they would be like, what do you mean? I'm fine. I'm fine. And they didn't even realize, like, they don't think people are seeing this in their minds because you're in this warped state of mind. You know, you're like almost delusional to the point where you don't realize what other people are seeing, because to an extent, you don't even realize what you're doing.
Right.
You know,
And
but
I'll
I've
give you
always seen that with them. Go ahead. Sorry.
a perfect one with my brother. You know, when my dad was dying and everything, and my brother was here, we were driving back and forth to the hospital, and I was just beat. I was tired. I said, will you please drive? I don't feel like driving tonight. I'm tired. And I didn't know he had done anything. So we get on the highway to go home, and all of a sudden he's nodding off and going off the side of the road, and I'm hollering at him, and I had to make him stop to let me drive. That was scary as shit.
Oh, I'm sure. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you know, I did, every time I got a DUI, I had to go to like DUI class. You know, that's what they have. They have these classes and they show you all types of stuff. Sometimes they'll show you Mothers Against Drunk Driving. They'll show a mother in a courtroom who just lost her child in a fucking accident because they were hit by a drunk driver. And you'll have to sit there and watch them scream and cry as the person's getting sentenced. Crazy stuff like that. I mean, but they'll show you stuff like, they'll do tests like state troopers. They do these and they make videos and they're used in DUI classes. Well, they'll take somebody and they'll make an obstacle course. You know, that's not real complicated. It's just like what regular driving would be on the streets, you know, and they'll give them a drink and then they'll videotape them driving, you know, and, you know, you could see it. They have a camera in the car too. You could see it from that perspective, whatever. And they would have them drive around the obstacle course, and they would stop them and ask them, how do you feel? You know, do you feel like you're impaired at all? You know, how's your vision? Blah, blah, blah. And then they would give them a second drink and have them go around the obstacle course again. And before you know it, the person's all over the fucking obstacle course, all over the fucking lot, whatever they have it set up and knocking cones over and every fucking thing else. And they would stop them again and say, how do you feel? And they'd say, I feel fine. My vision's clear. I don't feel drunk at all. You know, because you in your mind, you're fine. You don't even realize all the destruction you're causing. So that's the scary fucking thing. You know, you just don't see yourself for who you are, or what you're doing at the time. You don't even recognize it.
Wow.
Oh, Ferris just said something too. You become a master manipulator. Oh, yes. My brother had it down. Yeah, you do. You do.
Yeah. Absolutely. You do. There's no question about it. You have to. It's the only way you could sustain your addiction and still keep people in your life. You know what I mean? Or in some cases, you know, if you're a real bad dope addict, something like that, and, you know, you need to figure out ways to get money and get things. You got to manipulate people to give you stuff and continue to enable you and everything else. There was a comment I wanted to bring up here. DL said, we pushed my brother into rehab when he wasn't ready 16 years ago. He got out, overdosed, and died. If someone is not ready, let him bottom. Yeah, bro. I'm sorry to hear that too, bro. My condolences. Yeah, it's true, man. You have to. You have to. People, until they reach that rock bottom, they're not going to be ready. You have to hit. You got to, your life has to get to such a low point that you say, okay, that now it's too much. Even for me, I'd rather fucking clean up than continue to live this way, no matter how terrifying getting clean actually is. That's it.
It's sad that we can't get a hold of people sooner, Make
Yeah.
them realize, hey, you're screwing everything up here,
Yeah, and we see it. We see it, and we get so frustrated at the addict or alcoholic or whatever for not seeing it through our eyes. It's frustrating.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, well, that's, I used to see it with my family and stuff. It's like they didn't understand what I was going through, so for them, it was driving them insane because it's like, even when I tell them I need a drink, to them, no, I just only want one. You know what I mean? And it's like, and I'm causing chaos and destruction, and they're seeing it and they're suffering from it, but I don't acknowledge it or even recognize that it's happening. So yeah, it drives people in your life crazy too. Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm going to drop down and chat, big brother.
All right, War. Thanks for coming on, bro.
Love you.
Love you too, man.
Yeah, I think I'm going to drop down. We're getting to the 50-minute mark. Thanks for letting me come up. And it was
All right.
good talking to War. It was good talking to everybody. And I'm glad everybody showed up. And if any of you guys need any help, I'm telling you, FBS is really good with helping people. I've watched it happen. I've watched him help people. So let him know.
Absolutely. Anything I can do.
Yeah, I'm going to jump down, sweetie. I'll be in chat.
All right. Thank you, Miss Campion.
You're welcome.
Let's see. I want to read. I'm going to go back through some comments because there was some I caught that I want to read. For me, when I'm clean, it's like a voice in my head that's always telling me to do this, even though I know it's just not the right choice. I'll dream about using when I'm not. Sadly, it's just there. Yeah, I'm sure, bro. That's like what I was saying with, the mental addiction, a lot of people, they can't escape cravings or even go throughout their day without that voice in their head telling them, I think I've always said, this is why I respect so much people who have kicked heroin or, opioids, whatever, oxy, whatever it may be, because that always seemed to me, just from what I've seen in my life from actual heroin addicts, is no matter how long they're clean, it's always there calling them. Always. I used to ask people that, like, does a day go by where you're not what's the word I'm trying to look for? Like haunted by it. Haunted by the thoughts of how good it feels and all this different stuff, and is there ever a day that goes by where you don't crave it to the point of it almost drives you insane? You don't see that with a lot of things, but heroin, I've noticed. Somebody told me once there's no such thing as an old heroin addict. And it really made me fucking think. You don't see many, because most people do not survive heroin addiction. I was even to the point once where when I found out a friend of mine or something was on heroin, I just figured them as dead. It's like, okay, well, it's just a disease you can't cure. If you want to call it, I'm even using that, metaphorically, it's like an inoperable tumor. It's like terminal cancer, something like that, where you just have no chance no matter what you do. But I've seen people that have proven me wrong, especially since I started doing this. There are people out there that kick heroin. I always did. I always will. Because whatever that drug feels like when you do it, and I've had people describe it to me. I've had it described as, like a warm blanket being pulled over your body, all different ways. That feeling never leaves them. And they want to chase that feeling until the day they die, and even when they're trying to stay clean and sober, the memory of it is always in their mind. Some of you would obviously know better than me. I've never done any type of opioid or heroin or anything. I mean, they gave me fentanyl when I had a surgery. That's it, and I don't remember much of that. So, I don't know. You guys can tell me, but I think that's the worst when it comes to that. It's not the only thing where you have that voice in your head, but I just feel like it's the worst. I always end up going back when things are going well for me, self-destructive, I guess. Faris, this is what I talked about a couple of times on here before. I always said that about myself. Yeah. I think that's another reason. Like when War asked me what would make me relapse, I think there's something in my mind that somebody told me once that they think that I don't feel like I deserve anything good in my life. It was a woman named Emily. She was actually a manager of mine at a restaurant and then wound up becoming a little more than that, at least every now and then. And she sat me down once and said, I could see you looking for a reason to fuck everything up. She said, look at all your friends. They're all dead or in jail. And you're actually to the point you were in jail, you got out, you got this job, you're doing okay, you got your girl, you got your daughter, and she said, you're doing so good, but I can see you looking for a reason to fuck it all up. And she was right. Anytime in my life when things got really good, I'm going to give you a crazy example here. When I was DJing, people make fun of me for saying it because they want to see me in their own light, but their own image of me. But I was a legend in my city, and I was the biggest DJ. Every fucking club in Harrisburg and New York wanted me. I was really good at what I did. Clubs got rid of DJs that had been with them for years to have me there. I was making a ton of money. I had a supermodel basically as a girlfriend. That's what she looked like. Okay. We had gotten a nice big house. We were getting brand new cars every fucking year. We had money coming out of our fucking ears. It was just, I went from being the guy who was most likely to fail to being the most successful guy out of anyone I knew and in any circle I ever ran in. And the way people would treat me, it was like I was a perfect person. It was very, very bizarre to me. And I was told my whole childhood that I was going to be a high school dropout. I was going to go to jail. I was going to be a drug addict. I was going to fail. No matter what my dream is, there was always that guy, my dad, to crush it, to step on it and tell me how it's never going to work. And I'm delusional for even considering it. Whether it was wanting to be a DJ, whether it was, no matter what it was, a skateboarder, all different phases I went through in my life. So I believe to an extent that I was brainwashed into believing that I don't deserve anything good in my life, and anything good that's there doesn't belong there, and that, I was raised to believe that I can't be a winner. So if I all of a sudden have become a winner and I'm now successful, that's just not meant for me. I always knew that about my psychology. So I feel like every time I would relapse, it was almost a deliberate decision to destroy everything good that had come into my life. Back to the example I was using when I was, living with my daughter and her mom, and we had been together. Me and my daughter's mother at the time might have been together 7 years. My daughter was maybe 5, 6 years old. We had the big house, we had the cars, we had all this money. I had the DJ thing going on. One night, I got a DUI. Okay. Now I had probably driven drunk 4,000 times and never gotten one. Okay. I got my first DUI. I wake up the next day and I'm telling you that I felt a sense of relief like I had never felt before. This is true. And it was because I feel like this perfect person image I had because of, the lifestyle I was living and everything I had going on needed to be ruined because I didn't want people to think of me that way. And I just ruined it with this DUI. It proves that I'm still the same fuck up I was always meant to be. I was actually relieved by that. It was, and I even knew that was wrong, but that's how I felt. That's how I felt. So I think there's some mechanism inside of us, that I don't know. It's the sole purpose of it is to, well, I can't say make the decision for us. I think a lot of us who have lived a certain way or grew up a certain way, had a certain type of childhood or whatever it may have been, we have that part of us that is always pushing back against any type of progress. And as soon as we see things getting too good, it's like, okay, there's no way I can have it this good. I'm too lucky. Life is perfect. You know what I mean? There's got to be. I have to figure out a way to ruin all of this. And that's what I would do. That's what I would do every fucking time. This is the first time in my life I haven't done it. And I refuse to now, because I've been through it so many times and things are so good that it would be nothing short of a fucking tragedy for me to ruin it, not just for myself, but for everybody else. So that's one of the things that helps me stay clean and sober. I guess the thing that used to make it so that I would constantly relapse has now made it so that I would stay clean and sober, is that I finally snapped out of that mentality that I don't deserve anything good in my life, and whatever good comes along, I must ruin. I don't know. I guess it's ruining it all those times and having that mentality for so long that has finally taught me that is never going to work. When things get good, you better appreciate it and keep them that way for as long as possible. Keep things good for as long as possible, without fucking it up. Because you get to a point where there's too much riding on your decisions, and there's too much riding on my decisions. So, I don't know. Sorry for that little rant I went on, but I'm far from in the gutter mentally. I'm far from in the gutter mentally. I am, but financially not close, making me think I may die a junkie fuck. Well, I hope not, Ferris, and I don't think that's what you want. And I think that you're already, doing your best to make sure that doesn't happen. You obviously are motivated. You're over a month clean and sober right now. So, but I understand mentally how you feel, I think, for the most part. Oh, yeah, Tom Sheehy. No, that's just it. That's just it with the dope, no matter what it is, but especially with that dope. You are never getting that first high ever again. And they chase it and chase it. I did it with Coke. I got to a point where my nose was so fucked up that I didn't get the drain anymore. Oddly enough, I don't know where the Coke was going, but I just didn't get a drain anymore. This lasted years. Meanwhile, I loved that drain. I loved that feeling of, snorting a line or two and getting that fucking numbness in my mouth and that fucking drain. I loved the taste of it. I loved the smell of the Coke, everything. And when it got to the point where I wasn't getting that drain anymore and I wasn't getting the numbness, my tolerance had gotten so high that I didn't even lose my appetite. I could fucking eat on cocaine. I could sleep on cocaine. I wound up chasing it. I remember I would refuse. Every day I couldn't get a fucking drain. I would just keep doing line after line looking for that. And I wasn't getting it. You know what I mean? I got to a point where I realized I don't even like doing this anymore. I'm not even getting out of it what I used to get. It's just all I'm doing every time I use is chasing the way it used to feel. Oh, look at this. Look what we got here. Wait, let me see. All I see is a black screen so far. I don't know if that's really Frank. I see a black screen. Heroin opens up Pandora's box. I bet. I'm glad you have this show, FBS. People can come here and know they won't be judged because we're all going through the same and understand each other. Bro, you got that right, man. Nobody's getting judged here, bro. We've all been through shit and we've all made the same mistakes in a lot of ways, So it's impossible for us to judge each other in a negative way. Frank.
I'm driving. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay. Yeah. I didn't know if your mic was hooked up or because I didn't see your video or anything. So
yeah, I'm driving. You can hear me though?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, let me put the phone. Yeah, I'm on a long ride, so I figure I'd give you a call and tell you a little bit about addiction. You know what I mean? And everything.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Yeah, my thing was, I always believed alcoholism was my, the first thing that caused all my problems. Drinking. I started drinking at the age of about 11, 12 years old. I was from Brooklyn, and what happened was, I moved from Brooklyn to New Jersey, and back then nobody was from Brooklyn, and New Jersey was the woods in the country back then in 1977. You know what I mean? So I got severely bullied and picked on. The first day at school, I got jumped by 5 kids, and then I was in the hospital on my very first fucking day. You believe that shit? So yeah, so I never got over that and everything, and I started drinking at an early age, plus being Italian, for the Italian people. You remember when you always had these big dinners and stuff, and there'd always be like cups of beers left over all over the table, and my grandfather would make me throw everything away, and I would take sips out of the cups. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I started. That's how I first started drinking, and and getting drunk at a young age by doing stuff like that. And everything. And then and then I just continued. I was very shy as a kid, very low self-esteem, especially with the bullying. And when I started drinking, it gave me a personality, and I started, talking to girls more and everything. But I was a complete moron. I got in so much trouble drinking. I was very obnoxious. I was like the class clown, the idiot, that everybody was laughing at, not with. You know what I mean? And stuff. Yeah. And and I continued to do that, for years. And I was also a very good baseball player, and we always did a lot of partying with the team and all that stuff and everything. But what I want to talk about is what my biggest thing was the opiates. That drug really destroyed me. You know what I mean? I had 7 to 8 major surgeries through the years, and I started taking the pills then, and I just I've been clean. I've had relapsed. I was clean for 2 years. I did relapse 6 months ago, and then I stopped again and everything. That drug is very, very. It's such a difficult drug to quit. You dream about it. You know what I mean? I dream I'm buying it. I dream they're in my hands. I dream that I'm losing them. You know what I mean? Constantly.
Does a day go by where you don't think about it?
Not a day goes by where I do not think about. I try to tell people, if you said here's a suitcase full of $1 million on the left side, and here's 5,000 30 milligram Oxycontins, I'm taking the 30 milligram Oxycontins over the $1 million.
Wow.
And I'm not shitting you. I would take that, and I wouldn't even think about it. Okay, and it's a very, and I suffered the. I want to thank you for your shows, because it's not to make a joke out of it though, but I'm a single father of a 13-year-old. He lost his mother to a drug addiction, but I was very, very suicidal the last 5 around the holidays. Very, 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 where I actually called the suicide hotline one night. I was too embarrassed to call you, because when you get like that, I don't even know what to say. But what kept me alive, my son, of course, but I wouldn't want to destroy your show, Chris, knowing that somebody in your chat committed suicide. You know what I mean? I'm thinking about how could I do that to FBS in that chat. You know what I mean? I don't, that, it just, I wouldn't, I'm thinking about that where Chris is going to find out, and they're going to make fun of him that, what a chat you got. Somebody killed himself with that chat. You know what I mean? It's just.
Unfortunately, they would. But
they would make a joke out of it. And here I am, here I got a beautiful son that should be my priority, which he is, of course. But I'm thinking about that. You know what I mean? And but in a way, at least I had you to think about. You know what I mean?
I understand. When I was I said when I was in outpatient rehab, that's how I was. I'd be so afraid of letting down that group.
Yeah,
I wouldn't, I wouldn't allow myself to relapse or anything. Yeah,
it's just when you're depression's my big thing. Thank God I'm finally on the right medication now, and they got the medication corrected. Thank God. I feel I'm back in the gym again, because I did lose. Part of my depression was I love looking good and working out and being fit, and I got so skinny, I wasn't showering, I wasn't taking care of myself. My beard grew. I look like a homeless guy. You know what I mean? And so I'm back in the gym again. I put back 25 pounds of muscle, and I feel really good now. You know what I mean? Like, but I do that depression. If anybody's suffering with depression, it's just a nightmare. It's just something that you can't explain. You feel complete darkness. And I'm sure a lot of it has to do with the opiate addiction that I had for, 15, 16 years, because you feel so great on that. And then when you don't have that anymore, you're never going to feel as good as that. I don't care how clean and sober you are, but, you just have to, that's a big point. Even the doctor said you did a lot of damage to your brain, to your dopamine, you know what I mean? Like, and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a battle every day. I try to stay positive. Your shows help and everything. When you were gone for the week, that was a very strange week. I don't watch TV or nothing. I'm like,
yeah.
Actually, MobTube was fucking dead. Nobody was on. I was like,
Really?
nobody was on. And everything. Yeah. And I don't watch all the other shows anymore because I'm only subscribed to you and the Do and Mob Talk Radio, because I don't subscribe to anybody anymore because they all fucking play games and switch around and they're all fucked up. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I don't they're not getting my fucking sub. You know what I mean? And everything.
Well, listen, Frank, I'm so glad you're doing well, bro, because I know in the beginning too, a lot of people don't know. Me and Frank have talked since the beginning of this whole thing.
Yeah, I'm one of you, like,
and
first,
I know you struggled.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to when to call up someone, like, talk to somebody when you're depressed, but it's like nothing matters when you're depressed. Like, nothing means anything. You just can't, and you can't explain it. You're just so depressed that everything is just complete darkness. So even having a conversation, whether someone's giving me good points and everything, I'm not feeling it. You know what I mean? So what is, you say that's when you're like, what if, like, how could you live like that? I kept telling the therapist, I'm like, I feel like I am dead. And what is the point of living if I can't live like this, but you got to fight and fight and fight. And, they got me on the right medication. You know what I mean? I hate taking all those medications, but I have no choice. You know what I mean? I have a chemical imbalance, I guess. I don't know,
Yeah, well.
It does
I'm
work,
sure.
though. It does work, though. Thank God, because that's another thing. I was on 15 different medications since last year. 15. You know what I mean? And it's like you try them, and some of them make you feel worse.
Oh yeah, I've been there. Yeah.
It's like a pain in the ass. And then I would stop and take nothing, and, like, if they're not working, let's see how I feel with nothing. And then it's even then it's just I was sleeping days away, bro. I would take my kid to school and sleep till I had to go pick him up.
Just from depression.
I would drop him off, go sit on my recliner, listen to you, and fall asleep. And wake up at 2:30 to go get him. What kind of life is that? And I'm thinking about you always saying, get up, move around, do something. You know what I mean?
Oh, you got to. It's the only thing that keeps us alive, bro. Stay busy.
And if anybody's depressed, you lack energy. It's like you can't even fucking pick up your arm.
Nope.
It's
a terrible feeling, man. You're not even in control of your own fucking mind. Yeah.
And then I see, I feel sorry for people. And that, I have a really big heart. Like, there's a guy in my gym, he's got cerebral palsy. This guy is the best. I love the guy. Here he is. People complain they're depressed. Here's a guy with cerebral palsy and he's working out. You know what I mean?
It's amazing, right?
I love the fucking guy, man. He doesn't want nobody to help him. He's a real great guy.
Those people are truly inspiring people.
They're fucking, and he inspires the shit out of me. There's always somebody worse than you are. Remember that. There's always somebody that has it way worse than any of us have. Always.
Yep.
I saw a poor, taking my kid to breakfast. School's over now. Yesterday was his last day. And I took him out for breakfast this morning. There's a poor woman in the hot weather with a sign raising money for a kid who's got cancer. That fucking ruined my whole day. I'm depressed. You know what I mean? You get depressed. You know what I mean?
Even think about it, bro.
I mean, the poor thing is sitting on the side of the road with a fucking sign. I mean, you got to be fucking kidding me,
Yeah.
But you can't. That's how I get like that. I always feel sorry for people, and sometimes I feel guilty, that I'm doing good, and I shouldn't feel that way. I should be grateful. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, you gotta be, man. And listen, you're a kind dude. You're a generous guy. I mean, the things you do to support me, and even coming on here and sharing your story and stuff like that. You're a good person in general. I know you, Frank. So
No, I
I'm very
appreciate
proud
it.
to call you a friend.
No, I appreciate it. I try, I do have a good heart. You know what I mean? Too bad I've given it to the wrong people, because when you have, that's another problem I have. When you have addictions, you meet the wrong people. You meet the wrong women. You know what I mean? Like, I've always
Yeah.
gone out with women that were like, party girls and not, you know what I mean? And I end up knocking up one, but I have a beautiful son and everything, but, she couldn't, if I could tell anybody out there that's a parent and you're struggling with a drug problem, don't leave a little boy without a mother or a father. Get the help, man. You know what I mean? Like, that is very heartbreaking. The poor kid. You know what I mean? Like,
It is.
she ruined her whole life, man. She had a beautiful boy, and she just could not stay sober. She was addicted to crystal meth, cocaine, pills, drinking. She was a mess. She had if she didn't die, she was facing 10 years in prison. She had 5 DUIs and 2 child endangerments.
Jesus Christ.
She got a DUI, Chris, picking my kid up from school 3 years ago. Got arrested on the school property, drunk. How embarrassing. Is that embarrassing or what?
That's terrible, man.
But all the teachers know me. They know what I go through, and they respect me, and they know I'm a good father. You know what I mean? Like, and everything. So, but it's just, if you're out there and you have a drinking problem and you're a parent, think about your kid, man. You know what I mean? You got to do it for your kid,
Absolutely.
If I can get to
Without a doubt.
anybody, at least, but yeah, it's just hard. You got to fight, do the best you can. Like I said, depression could come in any time. You know what I mean? Like, you can feel good one day, the next day, I still get bouts of it here and there, you know what I mean? But not as bad,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I get very boring at times, like, but that comes with age too, where things don't excite you no more. You know what I mean? Like, you get older and things that used to excite you, they don't do it for you no more. But that's just age too, and everything,
Yeah.
But,
Well, like I said, man, I'm glad you're doing well now, bro.
yeah, I'm trying. You know what I mean? I can't get. I take it one day at a time. I take my medicine every day. I go to the gym every day. Now the summer, it's coming. My son, I got my channel where I film all his football games and his friends. I do that for his memories, that he'll always have that when he gets older. Look back on that. That'll be awesome. And everything.
That's good.
Yeah, he's a quarterback. He's a good young football player, man. He's small, but he's hopefully he'll go to college. Well, let's take it one day at a time. Let's get through 8th grade football.
Yeah.
Yeah, I already got him in the NFL already, making money and stuff.
Hey, listen, you know what though? That's how you have to have him thinking, bro. Listen,
Yeah.
you could be like my dad and tear him down, or you could you'd be the way you are and build him up. You always want to build him up. I used to tell my daughter, it didn't matter what my daughter said she wanted to be a cat once. I said, you could be the best cat in the world. No matter what the fuck. This is when she was a little girl. Anything you want to be, I'm going to tell you can be that, no matter what.
Yeah, no, you got to. Yeah, like he tells me things. He wants to be a, if he doesn't become a pro football player, he wants to be a cop and stuff, like whatever you want to do. You know what I mean, like, and stuff. But it's very rewarding being a parent. You know what I mean? It's really cool to see your offspring, do better than I did. You know what I mean? Like,
that's the goal, man. Have them do better than we did. And you're a great father, Frank. That's one thing I know about you. I got a lot of respect for you, bro.
I try. I mean, it isn't easy. I get mad at him sometimes. You know what I mean? I do get, he could be a pain in the ass. They know everything at that age. At 13, he knows everything. He just turned. His birthday was last Friday, so he just turned 13. So they could be wise asses, and everything. I'm not a big fan of the music. He loves all the rap stuff. Like, I'm not really into the rap. I love Eminem,
Yeah.
but he likes all that rap that you like. The songs you like and stuff. Yeah. He loves his sneakers. He loves his Jordans, all his sneakers and everything.
There you go, bro. He's on the right track already.
Yeah, he must have. He got 15 pairs of Jordans. This fucking kid. Yeah, he loves them. Yeah. No,
well,
but
it's good, man. You spoil him. You treat him good. You'll always be his hero, man. You're doing the right thing.
Yeah, no, I try to be, and hopefully he'll grow up, knowing that, you know, he won't, you know, he always asks me like, why did mommy do that to me? Like, why did mommy do drink? I'm like, well, all I can tell you is that if you never take a drink or a drug, you may never do it. You don't know it. You know what I mean? That's how you get addicted, you know?
Yep.
You know, that's how when I got somebody handed me, like I always took painkillers, you know, when I was younger through circus, they gave out. I grew up with Percocets and Oxycontin was like candy, you know what I mean? And I would take them and stuff, but I could give, you know, I didn't care. But one day in 2012, my back was hurting me. Guy handed me this little blue pill. I took it. Next thing I know, I was never the same again, you know? That's all it takes.
It is, man. I know a kid that happened to. He fucking, I don't know. He sprained his ankle or something playing baseball. He's 15 years old, and his dad, of all people, gave him a fucking oxygen. And that was it, man. A couple of years later, he was found overdosed, dead in a mall parking lot. You know?
Yeah, they don't give out no more pain. They don't even. When I had my last surgery was my right knee replacement, and they give you epidurals now. They don't even give they give it to you after it wears off. You know, they don't give you no more pain medicine with the button. You know what I mean? They stopped doing that. You know what I mean? I had 3 neck surgeries, 2 knee replacements, 2 back surgeries, a double hernia surgery, Tommy John surgery, and the only thing I got left are my hips that are mine. I'm the fucking bionic man. You know?
Christ.
But I look good. You know,
there you go, bro.
57 years old. You know what I mean? I don't look like Tony Pizza, that's for fucking sure.
There you go. So you're already ahead of the fucking.
Yeah, that guy's a fucking disgrace to anybody 57 years old.
Yeah, for real.
I don't want to make fun. I don't make fun of nobody because they're all fucking psychos. They're gonna make a fucking Netflix documentary about this shit one day. You know?
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, somebody's gonna get fucked up one day, like that fucking Don't Fuck with Cats. You ever see that thing? Don't Fuck with Cats. Holy shit, that thing.
I watched some of it, but I couldn't get into it.
Oh my god, that was one fucking crazy fucking thing, man. Holy shit. Yeah. But hopefully nothing like that'll ever happen. You know?
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that fucking Nick guy, whatever happened. I don't understand these guys. They add him to the list. Another fucking guy that used you to fucking make a channel. Another one. You know?
FBS the human springboard.
Yeah. Well, you created more channels than Comcast. So add him to the fucking Comcast channel list. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he tried too hard, that guy. I didn't want to say nothing, but he went a little bit overboard, I think. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
I agree.
Kissing your ass a little bit too much there. You know?
Yeah.
But that's about it. I'll let you go. I just wanted to say a little bit. I mean, I got more of a story, but I just wanted to say I'm doing good, you know, and I didn't kill myself because I'm a big FBS fan.
Well, hey, listen, man. That means the world to me. As funny as it sounds.
No, I know.
Listen, I never thought I'd have the opportunity to save a life, and several people have told me things like that since I started this.
I'm on the suicide hotline with the fucking girl, and I'm telling. She's like, "Well, what are you?" I was like, "Well, I'm a big fan of this guy on YouTube. You should subscribe to his channel. It's Fat Boy Sicilian." She's like, "What is it called?" I'm like, "Yeah, he's a big reason why I don't want to kill myself because." Everybody in his chat is good people, and then they'll fucking word will get out, and he'll get ruined. I don't want to ruin his show. He's like, that's why you're not killing yourself. You must be a really good guy. I'm like, yeah, it's a good show. Subscribe.
I'll leave it to you.
Yeah. I got the fucking suicide hotline girl. Fucking maybe she subscribed. Who knows? You know.
Yeah.
But all right, bro. Take it easy, and I hope Shanna gets. You know, she'll get a job. She's a nurse. She's a hero.
Yeah.
You know.
She will. Thank you, man.
Make sure you guys donate to FBS, all right? You pay for cable. You pay to go out to Outback. You pay to go to the movies. You pay to comedy clubs. You take girls out on dates or men on dates. Throw them a couple bucks. Everybody should give you $1 a day. Everybody give $1 a day. You know?
That would be my problems would be solved, bro.
Everybody give them $1 a day, and that would be $155 a day you'd make. You know?
Yeah, at least. Well, 2 shows too. No, I'm just playing.
People start donating. I'm going broke. Start donating to them, please. I'm only fucking with you. No, I'm.
You know, if it ever becomes a problem, man, you don't have to give me a thing.
Bro. No. I worked in. I was a local 3 electrician for 35 years, and I belonged to one of the greatest unions in the world. And I have a great pension, and you also get a lot of money for, unfortunately, when you lose a parent, they do take care of the child. You know what I mean? Social Security wise,
Yeah,
they do. They give you, a nice amount for that. So I do very
man.
well. Thank God. But I earned it. I broke my ass. Anybody that lives in Manhattan, I built that whole fucking skyline, that whole Manhattan skyline. I built it. Broke
You worked
my
a
ass
lot on a lot of those buildings, huh?
I did all Millionaires Row on Park Avenue. They call it Millionaires Row. I built all of Donald Trump's buildings. I met Donald Trump all the time. He actually wasn't a bad guy. He was a nice guy to me. Yeah. I used to laugh because somebody used to hold the umbrella for him. When it would rain.
Oh, really?
Somebody would hold that umbrella for the guy. Yeah.
He had his own Sammy the Bull, huh?
Yeah. Well, he used to go. My nickname was Frankie Flex. So he used to call me Flex, and he's like, "What are you doing for the weekend, Flex?" I'm like, "I got a date. Can you lend me, a couple of bucks, take her out?" Yeah, you and everybody else, bro. Yeah, he had a good sense of humor. Even real quick, we're working on a Saturday, right? I didn't see him on the loading dock, right? But my partner sees this girl in a sweatsuit, like a tight sweatsuit, and he makes a comment about the girl, like, "Holy shit, look at those, blah blah blah," and he's right there. I'm like, we're gonna get fucking fired. You know what I mean? Like, he said something to somebody, but he laughed. So he could have went to like the big bosses, and we could have got fucking fired. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he was cool about that. I didn't say it. The freaking other guy said like an idiot. You know what I mean? But that's about it. All right, man. Take care, everybody. Stay sober, and I wish everybody the best.
All right, bro. You too, man.
Take care, everybody. Bye bye.
All right, peace.
Peace.
There you go. The one and only Frank Gerard Fratello. I thought Sammy built those. I think he means he worked on them. You know what I mean? People take things way too literally. There's something, D. Gainey said about, I kept a comment on the screen for a long time. Let me see something. Hold on. I'm going to take you off. Let me mute the mic. All right, sorry. Let me take this out now. My mom was out in the living room a little while ago. I thought she was still out there. I was actually going to have her come in here, not on screen. My dad did. I think my mom would gladly tell you about some of it. You could hear it in her own words. It was, listen, it's, he was somebody who, for whatever reason, wanted to tear us all down 24 hours a day, me, my mom, and my brother. And no matter what it was we wanted to do, or any dream we had, he would step all over it, figure out a way to crush it, and convince you that that's not possible. I don't know what it was. Most fathers want to see their sons do better than them, kind of like Frank said. But I don't know. I think about it a lot. And my mom, we talk about it a lot. And, and she'll tell you, there came a point where it was the last straw. Some horrible things were said, I told you, watch 29th Street, Danny Aiello, that scene where Frank Pesh, his son, says that he's going to go to the drawing by himself. Watch the conversation, the screaming match that goes on in the dude's bedroom with his dad. And that was my childhood. That was my childhood. Word for word. That was my childhood. It was crazy, but I don't use that as an adult. I don't believe in people using their childhood as a way to justify things they do. We grow up, but a lot of you guys dealt with the same thing, I'm sure. And that shit fucks you up mentally. It does. Maybe not once you get older. Like now, I don't give a fuck. Now I know I could do whatever the fuck I want to do, And I've known that for a long time. But when you're a kid, when you're your formative years, and when you're even when you're a young man, in your late teens or early 20s, and you're trying to make decisions for yourself, that stuff stays in your head. It does. And sometimes it could be the cause for addiction, the verbal abuse you went through. And it could be, the cause of relapse and the cause of feeling hopeless and like you have no chance. You're just going to be a failure. So I was going to actually bring my mom in here and have her tell you guys some things, some stories, but I think she's upstairs. I don't want to bother her. It's not easy for her to get up and down the stairs. So, oh shit, Ferris. I'm sorry to hear that, bro. I dread that day, man. Ferris, I was clean 4 years besides methadone, and when my mom died, I started shooting fentanyl because my doses was not high enough. I'm sorry for your loss too, Chris. Yeah, I mean, listen, stuff like that. These are the challenges we got to face clean and sober, and it ain't easy. I haven't lost a parent yet. I don't know what I'm going to do when it happens. My mom, I think about it a lot because she's not doing well, of course. Doctors last August 21st, told her she has 2 weeks to live. Thank God they were wrong, but they were right about the fact that, it's the end stage, So I don't know, man. Listen, all I know is that no matter what happens, I can't go back to my old ways. I can't, as long as I got people in my life that count on me and love me and depend on me, I can't, no matter how much I might want to. I've dealt with other things in my life, other tragedies and stuff, and I've always dealt with them with drugs and alcohol. The night my mom got that news, you guys saw me. I was fucking hysterical crying, which is not easy for a man to do. Okay. Especially live on the fucking internet. You know what I'm saying? But I couldn't control my fucking self. It was the worst news I'd ever gotten in my life. And now, once something like that's in your head, you spend every day wondering if this is going to be your last day, but I talked to Don Berlin that night. I was on the phone with him crying like a little bitch, driving around, trying to figure out what to do. And I was in York City, and I think that worried Don. You know what I mean? I told him I was going to visit some old friends. And what I meant was there's some people, my mom raised a lot of kids, not just her own. Look at the way Cam talks about my mom. I could have Cam come on here someday and have him tell you about her. She was a mother to a lot of people. So I was driving around. I'm thinking, let me go tell people, because I want people to be able to see her and say goodbye to her. There's people that need to know. There's people that she raised like her own. But Don thought I had other plans for going to see my old friends. And maybe I was going to, grab something and, make that fatal mistake. But because of that, he told me, go home right now and do an addiction and recovery show. And that's what I did. But it could have gone differently, who knows? If I wasn't as determined as I am, I would have done exactly that. I could go get cocaine in 5 fucking minutes. I could get as much as I want. No problem. I know drug dealers all over the fucking place. That's all I spent my life around. And alcohol couldn't be more accessible. But it's like, what do I do now? What if she does only have 2 years left or 2 weeks left? What am I going to do? I'm going to fucking watch. She's going to die watching me relapse and fall back into my addiction. And she has to see that. Or I'm not going to be here to help her, or how does Shanna deal with things? And my daughter's going to suffer from this. And, you just got to think differently. You have no choice. You have to think differently. Because our best decisions got us here. Our best decisions in life. And like I said, I'm doing well. In my eyes, I'm doing well. But I also know that I should have been doing this well a long time ago. I should have been doing even better than this a long time ago. So I'm, where I am now, I'm way behind. No matter how well I'm doing now, I should have been, in my 20s, I was more successful than this. I could have stayed that successful, but I let my addiction make me give up the most successful DJ business in 3 counties. You know what I mean? I let it take a lot away from me, So I don't know. Sorry, I go on those little tirades, but you know what I'm saying. I should be a lot further ahead in life than I am now. And many of you probably should too, or at least feel like you should. So our best decisions yet have gotten us right here. You know what I mean? So you got to learn how to make better decisions. And that's what I do now. I focus on other things. I focus on saving money, improving my credit, moving. I want to move. I want to move into a bigger house in another city somewhere. I want to do these things for my future. I focus on trying to be a good influence to, the younger people in my life, stuff like that. My daughter, my stepkids. You just got to learn how to think differently. Let's see. The fent makes it so hard to transition. I had to be sick for days to avoid precipitated. I'm not sure. I can only imagine what you guys go through. It's got to be a fucking nightmare. Really? Oh my God. Yeah, I can't even imagine. Chris, you still have her every day. You have her. I'm sorry. You still have her every day. You have with her as a treat. Moms are the best. I was a mama's boy. She did so much for me. Happy to hear a little of your story, Chris. Well, thank you, Chris. And you're right. Yes, I'm very, very fortunate. Very. Thank you, Chris. That's my plan. Yes. No, I know War. No, she's not going to die seeing me in that old state, and I'm not going to die in that old state. I'm not going to let my daughter remember me that way, or my stepkids or my wife, the love of my life. I'm not going to let her see me that way because I was an ugly person, man. Well, I'm ugly as a motherfucker now. I mean, inside. I was a mean, vicious motherfucker when I used, man. I told you, if I ever relapsed, my marriage with Shanna would be over in days. There's no way she'd be able to see me that way and stay with me. I'm an animal. You know what I mean? And that's why a lot of people in my life have good reason to be mad at me, because I was mean to a lot of people. I was a dickhead. I caused trouble. Even the things I did to myself hurt people. They had to watch that shit, people who love me. So I made that promise in rehab. I don't know when I'm going to die, but when I do, I'm not going to have any of that shit in my system. I'm going to be clean and sober when it happens. And that is a promise I'm going to keep, no matter what. I still cry like a little bitch over my mom. I was a mama's boy and the baby, or her mistake was my brother puts it. Oh, you were a mama's boy and the baby, like of the family, yeah? Or is a mistake? A mistake, as your brother puts it. Fuck it. It's fucked up. Yeah. You should be afraid of this fucking name. You should be afraid of the fentanyl as laced in cocaine and a lot of drugs. That alone should make people not relapse. Oh, I've said it before. I don't, there's friends of mine that sell coke that I want to ask sometimes, like, aren't you fucking terrified? Because you're getting that shit from somewhere, just like your customers are getting it from you. That's how drug dealing works. So what if, God forbid, you get some shit that has that in it? Not necessarily laced, but, maybe the guy that was bagging the coke he's about to sell you was bagging dope first that had fentanyl in it, on the same fucking platform, on the same whatever, table, whatever, and weighing it on the same scale. And it only takes a morsel to get into the cocaine. You can wind up killing some fucking buddy or many people. I wouldn't do it or sell it at this point. I'd sell crack. I wouldn't. Sorry, me. I have to. Just joking, of course. But doing it, no. I can't. Maybe I shouldn't say I'd never sell it again because, like I said, I'm the type of person that would do anything it takes to support my family. As much as, it would kill me to ever go back to doing something like that. But I would never do cocaine. I couldn't do it. Just the fear alone of the fucking, you know what I mean? Imagine what a shitty way to go out. It's horrible, man. It's a completely and totally, what's the word? It's a horrible way to die. It's a complete and total waste of life. It's, it's not even like you're dying for something. It's not even like you got an illness and you just couldn't control, what happened to you, your health, and you wound up passing away. It's like you made a choice to do something, and just like that, you're dead. You're not here any fucking more. I mean, whether it's dope, whether it's a pill you're taking, some pressed pills, Xanax, something you think is Xanax, Oxy, whatever, or whether it's doing a line of Coke thinking it's just Coke. It's not always just Coke anymore. It used to be just Coke. For decades and decades, people did cocaine knowing, what the risks are. And most people survived it, probably 99.9%. But now you don't know. You don't know. You could do a bump and drop fucking dead. You just don't know. Tom Sheehy, FBS, well said, bro. Thank you, brother. If I didn't already shout that one out, sorry. I don't like saying I think they could be corny sometimes, but there's no chemical solution to an emotional problem. What do you mean? Was there a comment before this? Corny sometimes. I don't know what you mean, but that's no chemical solution to an emotional problem. That's from The Sopranos, of course. It's true too, though. Well, no, what did Tony say? There's no geographical solution to an emotional problem. Yeah, no, there isn't. There isn't. No, fuck no. You're the first person I've heard on here say why fentanyl is in some Coke. Some of the fentanyl gets left on the scale when they weigh out bags of Coke. Well, you know what? I didn't even think about that a long time ago. At first, it seemed to me like if it was in there, somebody put it there deliberately. But a lot of people brought up a lot of good points, and they're right. You could be weighing it on the same scale. You could be chopping it up on the same table. Anything could fucking happen. Anything, and it could wind up in there, do some people put it in there deliberately, maybe to get their fucking addicts hooked on that shit now? Of course, but not always. It doesn't have to be anything malicious like that, anything sinister. It could just be a mistake. Just going back, hold on. Oh, my bad. Let me see something. You've had that done? Really, Chris? You've had that happen? What the fuck? You can tell by the taste when you smoke it. Wait a minute. What was it in? What was it in? You talking about it was in Coke, you cooked it and smoked it, or was it crack, or weed? What? Because that's another fucking thing that blows my mind, that this shit could be in weed now. I saw the most heartbreaking story of a woman that lost her daughter and crack. Oh, Jesus Christ. Shake, yeah. Jesus, that's fucking. I never even thought about it being in crack, but yeah, of course it could be. This story of this woman who lost her 16-year-old daughter. The girl was at a party and died, and they just were under the assumption that because it was fentanyl that killed her, that she took some sort of pill she wasn't supposed to take. It turns out like a year or two later, they found out that all she did was take a hit off of a blunt. That's so fucking terribly sad. I mean, imagine a pointless death, a fucking, maybe pointless isn't the word. You know what I mean, though. There's no, it was totally avoidable. And I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Sorry, guys. I'm usually pretty good with my words. Sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I get stuck. What's the word I'm looking for when I say like not meaningless? What kind of, when I talk about a death that like that was completely avoidable. There was no reason for it. It shouldn't have happened. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. Warren, no, thank you for being here, brother. This is the first time I've watched one of your recovery shows, and it's actually better than a lot of your MobTube shows. Wow, this is interesting content with depth and subtext. Thank you. I just wish you'd change your name. Yeah, oh yeah, they're definitely better than that. These shows have substance. They're meaningful. You know what I mean? There's no comparison. These shows actually help people. MobTube is my money maker. You know what I mean? That's how I make money. I don't even like doing that shit. I don't. I just, I made the decision a long time ago that I don't ask for donate. If people donate on these shows, it's fine. I'm not going to turn it down, but I don't ask for donations. This is not a way for me to make a living at all. The other thing supports this. I make a living that way so I could do these shows, and actually help people. And there's actually meaning behind it and substance to it. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I see it. So these shows are the most important shows I do. No doubt about it. Don Berlin will tell you, he understands it perfectly. You know what I mean? That's why, there's been times where I couldn't, when I'm not making any money, these shows I don't do as many of them because I have to use every fucking minute I get to try to make money, but I don't do these shows for money, and I never will. You know what I mean? I never will. Nobody ever has to feel like they have to donate on these shows ever. If I could do this though, somehow figure out how to make a living off of it, without, for example, asking for donations or asking for anything from you guys, I would just do these shows. That's it. That's all I would do. I'd get away from that MobTube shit in a fucking heartbeat. But it's not that easy, They put it in the hard and soft here. That's fucking terrible, man. Chris Capello, I enjoyed this, bro. Thank you, man. Chris A, great show today. Yeah, I'll tell you what, senseless. Thank you. I couldn't even think of a fucking word, a senseless death. Thank you, guys. Yes. No, this show was fantastic. Thank you to, Paul came on. It was a little bit of a mishap, but Paul, I love you, bro. I hope you're not mad at me at all. You got to understand, it's not good to have anybody drinking in a group like this for obvious reasons. Frank came on. Jesus Christ, my fucking memory. Who else came on and shared? War, Miss Can't Be Wrong. It was great. I've never had this many people, I don't think, maybe once or twice on an addiction and recovery show. But that's what makes it good, guys. You could listen to me say the same shit over and over, or you could listen to other people share their stories and their struggles. And, I think in a lot of cases, you guys can all relate to each other, just like I can relate to all of you and you can relate to me, so. I wish every show would go this way. I don't know. Mandingo Feet McCoy. Now I think you're just trolling me. I don't know why 20 people. It was up to 40 people. We used to get between 60 and 100. Things have changed. I don't fucking know. But now I'm getting the feeling you're just in here to troll me. If I can get the fucking word out. This is the reason I got more respect for FBS than any other creator. Thank you, Faris. Well, I've been trying to say it from day one. There's a difference between me and many of them. I truly want to help people, because if I hadn't have gotten the help, I wouldn't be here to do any of this shit. MobTube, addiction and recovery, or anything else. I either wouldn't be breathing or I'd be in a cell for a very long time, if not the rest of my life. So, of course, I want to pay it forward. I want to help other people. And not only that, but my whole life has been negativity. I mean, I was a good father and stuff. Don't get me wrong, but I was always a criminal of some sort. You know what I mean? I caused a lot of chaos and destruction. So I never thought I'd have the fucking opportunity to do something positive. And this shit has given me that, this channel. you know, it's both channels now, but you know what I mean. Doing these addiction recovery shows. When I started the MobTube channel, I started doing this right away. And it gave me the opportunity to help people. And anybody who truly knows me on here and doesn't see me through this fog, these trolls see me through, and, you know, these people who hate me, know that I'll do anything for anyone if I can. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to this topic, you know, addiction recovery. These shows reflect your altruistic character, my man. FBS, completely selfless. It's about helping folks, not making money. Jeez. No, these shows aren't about making money. They never will be. I'm not completely selfless. I think even doing this is partly selfish because how do I say it? Like, well, I can't say selfish, but you know what I mean? I do get something out of it. I get the satisfaction to know when I helped people. I get to, it's like a therapy to me. I can tell you guys things that I won't necessarily talk about on the MobTube shows, even though I know there's still people watching these, you know, trolls and stuff. Well, I'm able to be more open. You guys, you know, have a place to talk to each other where there's no judgment and stuff like that. And it makes me feel good about myself, you know? So I can't say it's completely selfless, but it is for the purpose of helping other people. There's no question about it. The MobTube, Montaigne, you said, but MobTube, yeah, your crowd is pretty crazy. Yeah, it is. Too crazy. Good talking to you, Chris A. Sometimes I don't relate to some of the stories like yours. That's why we all learn from each other, man. Chris A, you know, has a different story than you, and I have a different story than a lot of you. But it's all about a common struggle, you know, the struggle of addiction. I'm not trolling. I'm just surprised to see you in this light. You're a very different guy on this show. You're encouraging and uplifting. Well, thank you, man. I try to be. I swear to God, you know, anybody who really knows me knows that this is the real me, not the other guy. I swear to Christ. I swear to God. You know, not like I believe in him, but you know what I'm saying. It's an expression. This is who I really am. I do what I do on the other channel. Well, you know what I'm saying, on MobTube, to make money, and because people constantly come after me, it's just in me to go back after them, you know. But it's not. I told you, I was even talking to SoFlo about this shit the other day. I always, like, if I really tear somebody down, unless you're a complete fucking animal, like even Angel, sometimes there's something that makes me feel bad. Like, I don't know why. I guess because I still feel like there might be a decent person deep down somewhere in there. I don't know, but you know, when I just do these shows where I just tear people fucking down and I go really ballistic the way I used to, I felt like shit. It would ruin my whole fucking night. You know what I mean? I'm laughing on here, acting like I like it. And then the rest of my fucking night, I feel this fucking big. It's like, there's nothing good that comes out of that. It's not a good thing to be doing, even if you're just fighting back, you know, it makes you feel like shit sometimes. Oh my God, Casey, there is. I benefited greatly off these addiction recovery shows. I did 28 days in rehab. I talked about the show in there with the group. True story. For real. That's great, man. Thank you, bro. And I'm glad you're okay too. Selfish for the right reasons, FBS. I get what you mean. Yeah. I just mean there's an aspect of it that benefits me as well. So I can't say it's like I get nothing out of it. I certainly do. You know what I mean? This has helped me stay clean and sober, just like it's helped a lot of you guys. I don't know what I would do if I didn't have this. I don't know what I would do because I don't go to meetings. I don't go to AA. I don't go to Refuge. I don't go to any of that. No groups. I never did any 12-step programs. I'm not involved in any of that. I have no involvement in the recovery community outside of YouTube. So I wouldn't be able to get what we all get out of groups like this if I didn't have this this addiction and recovery show happening, you know, if I wasn't able to do these. After getting friendly with Kasparos, I see how batshit Angel crazy is, or batshit crazy Angel is. Yeah, that's for another show. Anyway, I got to go, guys. Thank you for being here, all of you. Please write these numbers down: National Addiction Hotline, Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, and please go to nextdistro.org. Fill out the little, watch a video, fill out the little stupid quiz, enter your information in there, and you'll get for these Narcan sent to you. And, you can carry them on you, keep them in your car, give them to family members, even if you don't know anyone who is struggling with opioid addiction or opiate addiction. It doesn't matter. You might run into somebody, you might find somebody in a parking lot keeled over in their car like I did once. It might be somebody on the floor of a Walmart ODing. It could be any fucking way. You might walk into a public restroom and find somebody on the ground foaming at the mouth. I mean, you could save a life. So why not? Even though those people will be mad at you at first that you just took their high away, as sad as that is, they go into instant withdrawal. They're not happy when they're Narcan. They might be happy years later when they're still alive to tell about it. So, thank you, McCarthy. I'll just call you that. And William Noah, $15. Thank you, brother. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. All right, guys. I'm out of here. Stay strong. All right. Remember that you're going to have to deal with things no matter what that come your way in life. Any type of pain, tragedy. It's just the way we got to do it. It's life or death, pretty much. Those are your two choices. And keep coming back to these shows, please. I'll always be doing them Wednesday at 1:00. I might do ones at other times too, but you can always count on that time slot. Jesus Christ, fucking COVID. All right, guys. I love you all. And until next time, salute.